How's it going, everybody? My name is Aaron Smith. Welcome to another episode of Soul Talk, where I speak from the soul to the soul. This is the leading edge conversation in poetic space that takes us to a higher place. This is our ninth episode, and today, again, we'll be talking about staying in alignment. And staying in alignment is the one thing that can be the difference between your desired reality, what you're manifesting, and what you're currently experiencing. So, we're going to go over a few areas of what stay in alignment, a few areas of our lives that can help us really stay in alignment properly. And one of them will be energetic, because we attract from who we are, not what we want. And so we have to be a vibrational and energetic match to that which we desire. If you want to be in a loving, safe, trusting relationship, you have to be that. And you experience some of the opposite, but not all of it is a negative thing. But we've been through different experiences and learned lessons from these different aspects that has taught us not only about ourselves, but about the partners that we were with, what we again don't more clearly defining what we do, and inspired action. When you are in alignment and you take inspired action, the results can be multiplied, magnified to a higher amount of benefit that results from versus when you're forcing action. Just think about it for the audience out here. When you're in flow, which is another form of being in alignment, that in which you are creating just flows. You don't even have to think of it. You feel it and it just naturally flows. Versus when you're sitting and you're like trying to put a verse or create a hook or create a sound for the track. And you're working, and it's just not working out. When you force things, I feel like that's a misuse of energy. It's not aligned. Sometimes you have to wait for the information. For the inspiration, in order for it to work out for the best. And I know because in this journey with art, even with school I was just attending, I'm currently graduating from film and TV production emphasis program at the biggest IMS, the language, and being aligned with the right people. The right people can make a big difference. We'll get into that further because there are people that could be, they can have good intentions, and then they can be those that don't have good intentions. And being in alignment with yourself and attracting the right type of people, you will experience and attract everything, but you will know to discern which ones are right to be aligned, feel it, and again. And so our intuition and the energy world that I speak about, a lot of people are in tune to and are aware of, and there's so many more that aren't. And so this is like a bit of a new language, a new terminology for people to start to grasp the understanding of it. And so think about it like this. You have a group project. And then there's people in that group where they just click, they connect. There's a synergy, there's chemistry in the way that they can build without there being too much conflict and, who cares about what accolades are getting. It's more about the team effort and the desired result versus the who gets what title and this, that, and the third. And so when you have a team like Bill that are nitpicking, they want to say this or that or micromanage every detail instead of letting. So just think about it like this. For a radio show, I'll give an example. You have an executive producer, you have producers, and you have the talents. And so the executive producer oversees everything. You have a talent that wants to be a producer or a producer that wants to be an executive producer, then the whole show is not going to flow the way that it's meant to. If the executive producer does his job, oversees everything, makes sure everybody's on par and it's running smoothly, then it gives space for the producer to do what it does, what they do, which is create content and make sure that the artist is staying on par. And so from that, you'll have a better flow for the show and how everything is supposed to go. Because when people are on the line, then it just would work out the way that it could have. And you could have better results in a shorter time than a longer period. And now let's talk about environments. The environments definitely, can play a big part of it. I was in transit yesterday and I heard this guy, just talking about people being a product of their environment. You come from a toxic environment, and you stay in that, and you're gonna have to work twice as hard to get a better effort than if you were in an environment that was more harmonious and closer aligned to what you're creating. You just think about it this way: if you desire a life of peace, living in a war zone isn't going to provide it. If you like chaos and you're in a peaceful environment, then it's going to be clashing energies and tensions, and then it's going to create disturbances and problems in your environment and in your life. And so let's get back into it. Jumping back to the beginning. What does alignment mean? What does it mean? What really is it? And so, in energetic alignment, you have feeling grounded, clear, and connected to your inner guidance. And so, if you come across me for the first time, hi, my name is Aaron, aka Key, and artist name is Zayno. But energetic alignment, when you're feeling grounded and in tune with your inner guidance, you have a clear sense of what's right. Okay, say if you're driving, you have a GPS, right? You have that guidance system that's telling you, that you're going to be 45 minutes in this direction, but then you get a nudge, an inclination that if I go left, then it'll be better for me than staying on the current route, right? And so just say, for instance, you take that left, you end up going around and making a right after a quarter mile of driving left, let's just say that's west, and then you make a right, and then that's north, and then now that north line has brought you, let's say this is that north route, and this is the highway that you came off of. So now that north line will intersect with the same highway that you just got off, but in the process of taking that route, you avoided an accident that caused an hour delay, 10, 20, 30 minute delay. And so that's a good example of what that looks like. Recognize the difference between the internal truth and the external noise. And so I can even equate that to not only just the external noise, which would be in the environment situations. And so let's take this back to the environment. Let's say if you desire to have peace, but you're in an apartment complex that has noisy neighbors, children that's always running around playing, and you got arguments and fights around, people always blasting music or doing one thing or another. And so you can have people above you, below you, next to you, and in front of you in these environments. And so let's just say if you desire to have a peaceful environment, you want to meditate, you want to get in tune with that inner guidance and have that clarity, right? You're going to have to create either a schedule around the noise, or you're going to have to create an environment and communicate with neighbors and hope for the best when it comes to that, because not everybody likes to be told about themselves when it comes to, hey, do you mind writing down? I'm trying to do something up here. We got plenty of pictures of what that looks like. And even in real life, if you get along with your neighbor, sure, they'll understand and be respectful. Again, if the environment is chaotic, then you might just get an adverse reaction that you anticipate. And so the right environments definitely play a big part. Another one, I mentioned flow versus forcing already. And so we have the signals that you're in alignment. You feel ease, a sense of clarity, and the synchronicities that you see. The synchronicities can show up in many forms. There is angel number synchronicities such as 111, 222, 333, 444, 555, and so on and so forth. 777, 888, 999, 1010, and 1111. These are synchronicities and signals that you're on the right path in the planet. And there's a dual nature to these too. And so this is where you want to make sure that you are vibrating high and not at a lower density energy, which can attract, adverse, things of that nature. So this is a great way to start refining your discernment and honestly learning to trust yourself again. Because when you're on this path, you start to get in tune with your inner guidance, that intuition that is guiding you is teaching you to trust yourself. We all experience things in life that create trauma, chaos, turmoil, and negative emotions. But from those negative emotions, we turn and learn to trust ourselves in the decisions that we make. And this staying in alignment with your inner nature, with your God positioning system, let's say, what your intuition is, that part of God that's guiding us, then you start to have a better reality because now the choices that you're making aren't creating chaos. It's not putting you in situations with people that will cause harm to you. You can align with people that can be in the same mindset. If you're in alignment with people of like mindset that are building and want to see other people win and build together, then you'll flourish. And so natural magnetism. This is something that has come up definitely big time. When your magnetism is activated and increased because your energy is in alignment. Because I was just having this conversation with an artist earlier today. And during that conversation, I was just talking about how the world is responding to us and not being so caught up in what we're seeing, right? The illusion. It's like being in the world but not of it. That description is so powerful, but not many people really understand what it means. When you could be in this world, and of course you have to see you got to see your environment. You have to know where you're going, so you don't fall down the hole, get hit by a car, or anything else that can really physically hurt you. Excuse me. When you have the ability to follow this guidance system energetically, you will know how to navigate it. And then what I mean by seeing it and not seeing it is like the expression that Wayne used, Ray Charles to the BS. Of course he was blind for real, but it's like seeing it but not allowing what you're seeing to give you an emotional reaction that creates another sequence of events that will repeat what you just took in. I was just having a conversation with a young man. He said, perspective on people who think about other people a certain type of way. And I was like, what do I think about them? I don't think about them. Let them be who they are, and I'm going to focus on what I'm focusing on. Where attention goes, energy flows. And so, again, we're making sure that the energy is aligned with what's best for us and not something that's detrimental. And so, or that can take you off course or out of purpose. Because when you're in alignment, more than likely you're connected to something that's in your purpose. And even before you even know what your purpose is, you can make the right choices that keep you aligned with whatever opportunity, whatever relationship or situation that you're dealing with. And a signal that you're out of alignment can be resistance. Again, and so just think about what I was just talking about. When you're working with a team that's not aligned, there will be resistance because now you got this problem to sort out. And this person wants to be the executive producer. I heard this term the other day, and I can agree with it. Too many chiefs and not enough. Too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Most people want to be a boss. They want to be a leader, but a true leader knows how to follow. And you got to know who to follow. And so again, this all goes back to being in alignment, which helps you to make better decisions. And you feel burnt out. Have you ever had a project that you had a time limit on? Even if you didn't have a time limit on, just say you were building something and you wanted it to happen, let's say before it started raining and getting cold with the weather changes. Like for instance, right now we're in the middle of fall, headed to winter. But even though it's fall, we have some good days. Like today, it's like 57, 52. I forgot what it's going to be. It's going to be like the mid 50s, mid to low 50s. Today, it's fine. Tomorrow, we're going to get a little rain, and after that, it's going to be back up. And one of these days, the next upcoming 3 days, it's like the high is going to be like 60. And so, it'll be better to continue this project on those days where the weather is more nurturing and supportive, 57 day versus a day that is 47 and rain. And so, those days, you'll get way more progress done than you would have on the days that you got to stop and now you got to pause because of the weather. Or you ever been to a baseball game where they had a rain delay? That's literally, it's no different than trying to build something or take action on something when you're out of alignment with what you're doing. And not that you're out of alignment, that you're burnt out, because that burnout is a signal that you're not moving, and you're not going to have the energy to complete the project. And when I was going through my course, the way that I would balance that is I would work. I would do to take the inspired action, but then when it got to the point where I needed to physically take a break, I would. I would literally stop, go ground myself, go play a game of pool to balance work and play, keep myself, in an energy of joy, right? Because if I'm in a joyful energy, if my mind is relaxed and I can learn, your ability to learn is totally dependent on your state of mind. And so when you allow yourself that time to revitalize yourself with activities that give you energy instead of draining you, even drinking water and eating can be something that can give you energy that you need when you're feeling burnt out. A lot of times, when you're mentally exhausted, you're physically exhausted. When you're emotionally drained, you're physically drained, because mental and emotional body person both affect you physically. So confusion is another sign that you're not aligned. Again, a lot of my artists will know what we will call a writer's block, which is not a block. There's no resistance to the flow of inspiration. There's a resistance to the flow of information that we want to finish, we want to write, but at the same time, you're drawing a blank, and you can be confused as to why, or even you're trying to figure something out and you can't, because confusion comes from multiple sources. But when you just let's think about mental brain, we get a few things and reasons why that is happening. The spirit of confusion can come also from distractions as well. And so that just goes into, again, being aligned with the right actions and the right people. You can have your own habits that will distract you. It doesn't need to physically be someone else. And when you start to see that distractions are taking more of your time than you are with actions that you could be taking to build that, and that goes into another internal reflection where you gotta make some assessments and make some changes to what you're doing physically in order to have the best return on that energy. Because when you're confused, the energy, you'll just be spinning in circles. You won't go anywhere. And low energy is another one. When your energy is low, literally, which could be another symptom of burnt out. We just talked about that, 9 and 9. When you're mentally and emotionally destroyed, a lot of times you're physically destroyed too. And so you always want to take moments to check in with yourself, just to make sure to see where you are, before you start things. And a lot of the times when we take the time to check in with ourselves before we take new projects, align with people, then we usually have a better indicator of if these things are in alignment with us or not. And then the next thing, what is taking inspired action, right? It's like not reactive action. And so what I mean by not reactive action, let's go back to the let's say a person that you've experienced a negative, let's say if you had a problem with somebody in the past, you guys are arguing about, somebody hurt that person or this, that, or third, or somebody completed a project in the wrong way. Just think about how the way that you respond to that can affect the situation too. Second, guys, you can hear it a little bit. It's got a little bit of a nasal, some nasal things going on. When you're not getting along with a person, it's going to be hard to work together. Let's say you're mad at this person, and the littlest thing can set you off. And so instead of acknowledging the fact that that you are upset and correcting it within yourself, you just ignore it, right? And so the person does something, and you have that knee-jerk reaction with that programmed response of, hey, we're snapping off at people, or now you're arguing, and that argument leads to nothing, right? And so when you're in a place of responding to things, let's say in environments too, if somebody does something and you give a reaction, let's say if you give a reaction out of fear versus fear, right? Or if you react out of confusion versus inspiration, right? That fear is going to create more of that. It's going to draw the experience in more if you react to that. If you responded to it with courage and understanding, then it can definitely impact the way that the outcome forms. Just think about inspired action, right? When we're reacting to something, just say, I'm rushing because I know I have a deadline. And I gotta get some final edits done to a project that I'm working on. If I rush and I try to force it, then the quality of what I'm putting together on building will be a lot lower than what it would be had I have waited for the inspiration and make sure that I was right energetically before taking the action. Then I'll have a maximum effort on what I'm doing. So when what time we gotta start? Okay. For sure. All right. Why inspired action matters, right? We just talked about. Well, first of all, before we talk about that, let's talk about how to recognize it, right? When you're in a situation and it is in alignment with what you're doing, you'll feel drawn to it, right? You feel pulled to it, like the universe is nudging you. Your higher self, your guide, your angels, is nudging you towards it. It's like the magnet. When the positive and negative, are aligned, they'll pull each other in. The negative and negative, positive push each other out. And so you feel that pull towards it. And so that is a signal, literally a physical one, that will let you know, hey, this is the right thing to action. Or you say if you take an action and you feel energetic, you feel vibrant, you feel alive, right? You feel that surge of positive energy coming in through it from the action that you just took. That's a clear indication and signal that you're moving in the right direction. Keep moving. So just like Dory said, just keep swimming, right? And then this better teaches you to know what it feels like, right? Because when you feel that pull and you take action and you see the result now it's magnified, that motivates you the next time you feel that same thing to continue to take action. Just think about fear. How when you get afraid, you stop. And then instead of reacting to it, just say, oh my God, there's something happening. It says there's danger, right? And the fear starts to set in. And then you take that moment and you align that action with courage instead of responding out of fear. That will allow you to move in that direction towards the thing that is calling you to be brave, and then you overcome the action or environment or situation that is called fear. And then the next time, the more you do that, you are able to diminish the sense of the control that fear has over you. And that is the beautiful thing about learning this whole process, because ultimately it's teaching you to trust yourself. Because just think about it, a lot of people have the unknown fear of success. A lot of people they have these big dreams, right? These big goals. They want to do better for them and their families. But the moment that it comes to taking action on it, they're stuck like deer in the headlights because of fear. First of all, it's the unknown, right? And then second of all, it could be outside of your comfort zone. But nothing grows in your comfort zone. Matter of fact, one thing that I'm allowed for fear for me to do, that fear that, kind of puts us in that deer in the headlights, I've learned to use that as a marker of the direction to go into. And so in this way, I've in turn taken that fear and allowed it to be a sense of a marker that I am in alignment to continue to go, versus, oh, fear, there's an actual danger, there's a threat, somebody shooting outside, or people are running around, there's a big fight, brawl, they're attacking random strangers, right? But if say you want to have a podcast, right? It's your dream to have a great podcast. You want a show that's not like anybody else's show. You do all the preparations for it, but when the time that camera comes on, you freeze. You don't know what to say. You feel like you're not confident enough. You don't trust yourself enough, and you just don't perform. A lot of times you stop, or you won't even start the camera. You won't even hit the go live button. Sometimes all you got to do is hit the button. Action feels fear, and when you allow yourself to move with inspired action, you will no longer have the confusion that comes out of me and out of me. You'll know that, hey, this is something that I'm aligned with, because, and I heard this yesterday, I don't know why I'm nervous I don't know why I'm feeling so nervous. Nervousness and excitement shows up the same way. It's all about how we direct that energy. So, right, we're going to react out of fear, shy away, or we're going to take that bold action and I know that, hey, this is an aligned action. That's why I'm feeling that fear. This is letting me know that I can actually care about what I'm doing. And so now that I know this, I can take the right action. All right. But why does it matter? Why does taking aligned action even matter? The biggest why is because it's directly connected to your purpose, to your opportunities, and it helps you again to build trust in your inner wisdom, and it builds that confidence that I know that I've done this before, I can do it again. Just think about the 4-minute mile. Nobody thought it was possible until the day that it was done. And then shortly after, it was done again, and then it was done again in rapid succession, just like that. But I just had this conversation earlier today as well. As a man thinketh, so he is. And then it's said again by Napoleon Hill, what the mind can believe and can conceive and therefore can achieve. And so you have to see it, you have to know it. And now that you have started, you planted the seed, right? You start taking the action, you're working on your craft, right? Now you align with opportunity. And because you know that fear is a marker of alignment and to take action toward this thing instead of shy away from it, now you got an opportunity where you can show exactly what you're capable of. The aligned action allow you to show up, show out, and do the best that you can for yourself and have the greatest impact of what you're doing. And that will yield a higher result than taking action that is not aligned, right? Let's say that opportunity comes up and you feel that fear and you shut down. They're not going to call you. But then you just go up and you feel that fear and you just know this is my time. This is excitement. I'm moving toward this thing. Let's go. Right? Now, over time, that confidence comes. It's not going to be right away. In fact, it might not have come from the second time, not the third time. This is my 9th episode. And so I can definitely say from personal experience, my first episode and my second episode, I wasn't as capable as going as I am now. There's been a few things. Besides, one was definitely the environment. 2 was the right opportunities with the right people. I've had 3 guests so far. This is 9 episodes. And so wanted it to be that way from the jump, but it just wasn't in alignment, right? It wasn't the right time. I didn't have the right people in alignment. But in the right time, we took the inspired action and it was a great success. Yes, this is episode 9, and I'm a little bit backlogged when it comes to posting these, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to do the same things that I am teaching you, because I know that when I take aligned action, and I know that this aligned action is connected to my purpose, the impact that it's going to have, it's going to be far greater than I can imagine. It's not about me. It's all about us. We're all in this thing. We're all in this thing together. Whether we recognize it or not, we're in the same building, right? Planet Earth. We just got different views because we're all different people. We have different perspectives. But the more we understand how connected we are, then we better can align with each other instead of understanding, allowing the things that are set up that divides us, the divisiveness that comes with this human experience. You can align with people that are better in the mindset. You know, like, just think about it like this. I heard this analogy when I was younger and it stuck with me. Chickens and eagles, right? Think about chickens. Chickens they're always together. Right? They're running together, they're clucking together, they're always eating together, they sleep together. When the storm comes, the chickens, they all run inside the chicken coop and they hide and they wait for the storm to end. But think about the eagle, right? It's a solitary bird. They usually live solitary lives. And when they find a partner, they mate for lives. And when that partner passes, they go back to a solitary lifestyle. They have their children, but their egg take 9 months to hatch, just like a human embryo. And from that, you get a fully developed eagle hatchling. Now, when the time comes from that eagle hatchling to leave the nest, it has 2 choices: fly or die. Because if it hit the ground, then it's not going to make it, because the eagle's nest is usually towards the top of the tree. And so the mother eagle can't say, hey, I'm going to teach you how to fly. The mother eagle got to trust that their baby has observed her enough, coming in, flying. But now that it's at a point where, okay, I got these wings, let me test them out. Starts flapping its wings. And then it finally makes that jump. And it starts to trust itself in its natural instinct. And then it takes off. and it soars to heights that it never thought was possible beforehand. That's the same process. The journey taking aligned, inspired action can do for you. First, it starts with staying in alignment. Once you know that you're in alignment, you can take that action. When you're in alignment, inspiration comes to you so effortlessly. That is another marker that you are in alignment, not out of alignment. It takes less effort. It just comes right to you. It happens naturally, like second nature. You're a fish in water, what is it going to do? It's going to swim. And so the difference between in and out of alignment can be sink or swim, just as simple. Are you going to swim like the fish? Are you going to fly like the eagle? Or are you going to stop like the deer in headlights? These are two different outcomes. Three, since we talked about the fish and the eagle. One swims, one flies, right? And then the deer does nothing because it's afraid. Shout out to the deers now. The deers are more constantly connected to us, and they don't look for us to push no more. When your energy is aligned with them, they will stand right there. And not only myself, but there's two yesterday said that as well. Didn't around. My mother's too new, somebody else story that happens. So these conversations happen all the time. That's one of the points of soul talk. Leading edge conversation. We're going to talk about the things that most people aren't hearing. A lot of people are in alignment. And these people that are in alignment with these, they are looking for people that they can have these conversations with. They're looking for platforms that can help them connect and understand the things that they're going through. Because we're living in a time right now where conscious evolution is happening at a very rapid pace. Excuse me. Conscious evolution is happening at a very rapid pace. These conversations are very much so necessary because when a person is in the right environment, connected to the right people with the right energy, then their life starts to take off too. Because they have a better understanding and can help them better align to this. This has been a great day today. I talked about the places. I talked about the people. I talked about the energy. You know, I talked about taking the inspired action. I talked about what it looks like to not be in the blind. I talked about what it feels like. It's a very visceral experience. Once you get in tune with the energetic world, you feel these sensations. Just think about it. Have you ever had a moment of terror where goosebumps happen? Hair stand up on your arms and on the back of your neck? That is a visceral experience, an energetic experience that from the energy that's telling you what's happening in the situation. It's the beginning of the fight, flight, or freeze syndrome as well. There's symptoms to that too. It's very visceral. Heart rate speeds up. The breath shorts. Your breath gets shorter. Your adrenaline kicks in. Your body prepares to either fight or flee. Right? And think about it with when you're in flow. You start to take action. It takes less energy and effort to get it done, and it will let you know. I want to thank you for your time and attention to this. Do me a favor, if you like this, if you connected with this, like this video. Put in the comment sections how it is connected to you and how you recognize moments of times when you've been in alignment or out of alignment. And then continue to come back, subscribe to this channel so you can continue to grow, understand the points of your journey that you're at. And if you would like to, you can email me at keamcg333@gmail.com, and we can see how you can become guests, either virtually or in person, to have these conversations so that we can help each other continue to grow and stay in alignment. Thank you. This has been another episode of Soul Talk. I'm your host, signing off. Get to know thyself, and to thyself be true. There's only one you. No one can do it like you. Have a great day, Chicago.